Be still and increase.
I wonder what it had really been like for Bartimaeus, and to have sat with him there by the gate of Jericho, and heard the world go by. A large crowd gathering, safety with numbers on that rocky, dusty road up through the robber-laden hills, and on to Jerusalem for the annual Passover festival. Pilgrims from all over the Roman Empire pausing and regrouping at this last service station, ready for the last push up into the hills, and in the midst of Jesus and the disciples. And blind Bartimaeus sitting there with the jostling throng all around, with perhaps some good-hearted pilgrims throwing a conscience freeing coin or two in his direction. After all, he was not going anywhere this day. Town gates were good places to get the recent news and gossip as travellers passed by to and fro. And Bartimaeus would have heard rumours about this Jesus, this Galilean, and of the provocative things he said about God, about kingdoms, about forgiveness and love. New ideas and challenges swirling up in the dust of the busy road. Perhaps, passing through his mind was the thought, well, what have I got to lose? Perhaps I'll shout and ask for some of that forgiveness stuff if he comes near. Or try at least. After all, really nothing to lose and nowhere to go. And as I sat there with him, I would have asked him about his name, and why his father Timaeus was strangely named after Plato's character, who delivered an important theory that involved sight as the foundation of knowledge. A cruel irony indeed, for to be analysed in society, left to fend for oneself, often begging and usually destitute. And sadder more, there seemed very little application of God's specific law by pious and godly Israelites, such as those passing by, of looking especially to protect the blind and provide help and support to all who suffered in such a way. Bartimaeus could see all these things. He had a vivid sight of it, because here he was, blind. Nothing to lose, nowhere to go, and in a Platonic way, no access to knowledge. No one takes notice of the shoutings of such a man from the roadside. Nevertheless, in this festal mayhem, he thought, perhaps I'll add some holiday chaos. So he voiced his thoughts. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. 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 Will he have heard me? Will he care? A shout saying what, Jesus must have thought. He knows my name. He calls me by my prophetic tag, Son of David. And he understands that I have the power to save. And he is blind. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Will he have heard me? Will he care? The hostile crowd urged him up. Come on, he's calling you. And abandoning his cloak, probably all he had, he came to Jesus. So, what do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked the blind man before him. Knowing it was the very same question he had just asked James and John, who had exposed their astonishingly blind and power-crazed discipleship in asking to be seated at his right hand in glory. And so here it is again. What do you want me to do for you? I want to see. Simple. Tell it like it is. I want to see. Really? May have thought Jesus. So much blindness around him. The jostling disciples, James and John, had just not been able to see. The wannabe box-ticking disciple, the rich young man who came to him earlier, just could not see. And now here is this blind man who wanted to see, but who already could. He already could see. His faith and his insight had revealed far more than the arrogant eyes of James and John, or the self-satisfied eyes of the rich young man. Go, said Jesus, your faith has healed you. And so now he could. He could see. He could go. And Bartimaeus followed Jesus on the way. Everything to gain, somewhere to go, and faith to exercise. What a transformation. True discipleship. The one who was actually blind, rejected by others, destitute, turns out to be a model disciple. Though physically blind, he could see, and spiritually and inwardly had great insight and vision, and thus faith to understand who Jesus was and what he could do for him. And so Bartimaeus gladly leaves this difficult earner of a day behind, abandons all, in order to follow Jesus on the hard road of discipleship, the road to Jerusalem and life. And with glorious new seeing eyes, his mind with the knowledge and images of this journey, of Jesus weeping before Jerusalem, cursing a fig tree barren on the way in, causing a rumpus in the temple. He would have seen the crowds rise against his Son of David and seek his death. And he would have trodden those steps to Golgotha, and with new eyes that surveyed, in that desolate moment, the not so wondrous cross. Yes, I might have sat with him at Jericho's gate, in the people-watching game, but would rather join him at Jerusalem's cross, as he received with open eyes the obedient self-giving reality of that moment, absorbing the brutal knowledge of it in his heart. And yes, but only in my mind's eye and by faith, I would kneel with him there today, his heart's cry, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me, a sinner. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me, a sinner. Amen.